Live from central Pennsylvania, this is CBS 21 News This Morning.
This morning, an investigation is underway after a late-night shooting in Columbia, Lancaster County. Plus, Democrats will hold their second round of debates in Detroit before the overwhelming majority of them move on to campaign in Nevada. And Governor Wolf warning that about 200,000 people could be in jeopardy after President Trump announces a food stamps crackdown. Those stories and more coming up. But first, we're beginning the show a little differently today. Family Fest kicks off this weekend.
Voila! Look at what we have here today.
Yeah, stop. 10 houses of back. I love it. That's probably what they used to stop.
You didn't know that was coming, did you?
Oh, I'm gonna start crying.
Oh my gosh, if you haven't heard, today is my last day here at CBS 21. So for the last time, good morning and welcome to CBS 21 News This Morning. I'm Sherry Christian. I'm those images. Oh my gosh.
It was so great. And you look just the same.
Aw,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. 17 years later, right?
The hair's changed a little bit here and there, but
right.
other than that, I gotta say, you've held it together pretty well. And this is typical because Sherry is actually holding her earpiece box because she ran into the studio so late, which is typical.
That's an isolated incident.
Right? Oh yeah.
No.
Isolated incident.
Every day we have a jam session. We're listening to music on Sherry's phone, which happens to be filled with half of Christmas music. So all year round, we're getting little splurges of Christmas.
Right. And I'm trying to plug in so I can hear Ashlyn, our producer. She needs to tell me anything. Okay, I can hear you now, Ashlyn.
We're so glad that you're joining us this morning because all morning long we will be honoring Sherry's legacy here at CBS 21 by showing you old clips throughout the years.
Yeah, we'll also be sharing some goodbye messages from not only our current employees, but also some former anchors and colleagues of Sherry's as well. So lots to come. There's our old friend, Kristen Allen. So it's, how do you feel?
Oh my gosh, just a mixed bag of emotions.
Yeah.
Mostly positive, right?
Yeah.
Of course, the hardest part is going to be saying goodbye to you all and these folks right here, but we've got at least the next 2 hours, right?
Yeah, we've got the next 2 hours. All right. Well, let's talk about our weather here today. It's been hot, as we know. We are in the midst of a heat wave, and check it out. We're quiet this morning. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s once again as you step outside. A little bit of a better chance this afternoon that we're going to run into a pop-up shower or storm during the second half of the day and even into the evening hours tonight. So a couple of pop-up storms, scattered storms on the way for tomorrow. But you notice tomorrow's the day that relief arrives in the form of that cold front. We're going to knock those temperatures back down into the 80s. But for one more day at least, we've got a few afternoon storms around and highs getting back into the low 90s.
We are working to learn more about a late-night shooting in Lancaster County. Dispatchers tell us police were called out to the intersection of North 3rd and Walnut Streets in Columbia just after 8 last night. Details are limited, but we do know crews are still on the scene. We expect police to release new information at some point this morning. The second set of Democratic presidential debates kicks off today, and for some of the candidates, it will be their last chance to shine. The 20 hopefuls will face off tonight and tomorrow night in Detroit. It's a city that has struggled over the years with not only unemployment rates, but also race relations. Detroit is roughly 80% African American, so the candidates' history and policies will be tested.
The black community is the base of the Democratic Party. It's not the progressives or the far left or what have you. It's African Americans. Being able to talk to those voters, get their support is going to be crucial.
The stakes are high. To qualify for the third set of debates in September, candidates must raise money from more donors and hit higher polling thresholds. The tougher rules are set by the Democratic National Committee to narrow the race. Many of the candidates will take their campaigns to Nevada next, which is the third state to hold a primary or caucus.
Good morning from the Alert Center. Serious protests are continuing this morning in Hong Kong, with protesters blocking 2 of the city's main subway lines. Now, we've got video that we're just getting in this morning. Chaos as angry commuters are arguing with protesters. The disruption is part of a pro-democracy movement that has brought hundreds of thousands of protesters to the street all summer long for marches and rallies across the city, all concerned about Hong Kong's independence from China's communist government in Beijing. That subway shown providing transport to almost 5 million people each day. So these protests have been highly disruptive, to say the least.
Testimony resumes today in a Franklin County murder trial. John Wayne Strasser of West Virginia is accused of killing 28-year-old Timothy Osti Davison of Maine near Chambersburg in January of 2014. Both sides presented their opening statements in court yesterday, with the prosecution playing a recording of Davison's 911 call. He could be heard saying, "This guy is firing shots at me." Prosecutors say it was a case of mistaken identity, and they believe Strasser was targeting a couple he had a contentious relationship with. Strasser is currently serving a life sentence for killing another person in West Virginia. Police say a rapper killed in a shooting while filming a music video in Philadelphia may have also been the target of an early morning gunfight that same day. 21-year-old Ezra Weah, known as Bankroll Gambino in rap circles, was one of 10 people shooting the video when 2 people got out of a car and opened fire Sunday night.
I just can't understand. We cannot understand it. Why, what happened, why they had to shoot. Who did it? We have no clue. We have no idea who did it.
Weah was pronounced dead at the scene. 5 others were taken to the hospital. At last check, 1 is still in critical condition. A California community trying to move forward after a fatal shooting at an annual festival. How people are honoring the victims as police release new details about the suspect. Plus, masked men terrorizing a local city, what they're wanted for, and why police are having a hard time catching them.
Well, we are heating things up once again today as we head back into the 90s. Make sure you have lots of sunscreen for your outdoor plans today. I'll let you know we can see a few thunderstorms with my first morning forecast.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
Hi Sherry, it's Kyle Rogers here. When I started interning at CBS 21 back in 2012, you were not only my cheerleader, but an incredible mentor for a reporter starting out in this business. Having spent many overnights and very early mornings working with you, you always made the newsroom a better place with your positive energy and your kind smile. You have a heart of gold that genuinely shines through TV, and we'll miss that every morning. So thank you for your dedication to the newsroom and especially the community. Congratulations on your next chapter, and here's hoping you can sleep in a little bit more. I hope to see you soon.
Well, hot, but most areas stayed dry yesterday. A little bit of a better chance today. We could see that pop-up shower or storm during the afternoon. Now, the cold front that's going to bring us relief is actually going to get here tomorrow. And that's the day I think we even have a better shot at seeing some scattered showers and storms. But I think we'll dry things back out again on Thursday. And we're keeping the humidity for the most part in check. Don't get me wrong, it's sticky out there. But we just haven't been dealing with the oppressive humidity on top of the big-time temperatures that have been in the 90s for the last 3 days. One more day, this is going to make it 4 straight in the 90s. We'll look for that afternoon thunderstorm with a high of 92.
Well, good morning and a happy Tuesday to you. Checking in on our roads, moving across Harrisburg this morning, where we're doing just fine. Everything's dry, unlike the eyes in our studio. But things are moving well. No accidents or delays to let you know about right now. Moving around the Capitol Beltway. The York Split's doing just fine. Same goes for the Eisenhower interchange. No problems for us on our river routes. That's a look at your CBS 21 traffic alert.
Yes, and it was just too much to ask to have nothing but positive news on my last day. So I'm afraid I do have to share some bad news. Today, there will be an autopsy for a man who died in a house fire in York County. The coroner believes Victor Gaiman died in Sunday night's fire in the 1500 block of Crafts Mill Road in North Dolores Township. The coroner says he lived in the house, but his body has not yet been positively identified. Officials are now asking his family members to call the coroner's office. Police are searching for this masked man who was caught on camera illegally riding an ATV in Harrisburg. Community members say this happens often, with riders speeding through neighborhood roads. They're worried it could one day cause a major accident.
They just come out of nowhere, you know, and you'll hear them before you see them.
Yeah, they're loud.
And the next thing you know, they're up beside you, or they're coming past you, they're pulling wheelies and stuff like that there. So if they're pulling wheelies, what control do they have?
I worry a lot too because it's like those small kids up at the North Street.
Police are now asking neighbors to send in any pictures or videos they may have of these riders. 2 people have been arrested in connection to a string of bank robberies along the East Coast, including one in our area. Circe Baez and Alexis Morales were arrested Sunday in Charlotte, North Carolina. The FBI says Baez robbed 4 banks, starting with one in Carlisle on July 20th. She has been dubbed the Pink Lady Bandit after being spotted with the pink handbag in 2 of the incidents. Morales was allegedly her accomplice. Capital Region Water is hosting a community event today about its stormwater fee proposal and implementation plan. The group is looking to improve the health of local waterways and address neighborhood needs such as localized flooding and fixing infrastructure. During today's event, folks can learn and ask questions about stormwater pollution and the proposed solutions to stop it. Tonight's meeting begins at 6 at the Lincoln Administration Building in Harrisburg. More shark attacks are sparking fear along the Florida coast, where the latest one happened and how many there have been in the Sunshine State this year.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
I had the absolute pleasure of working with Sherry not only once, but twice. So from all the way here in Music City, Tennessee, I just want to thank you, Sherry. Not only are you an amazing journalist, mentor, mama bear, but you have been there for me as a sister in Christ for years, and I cannot thank you enough for that lifelong bond that we now share. I love you. I'm so happy for your next chapter for you and your family. Congratulations.
Police have identified the 3 people who were killed during a food festival in California. The victims were 6, 12, and 25 years old. Police say 19-year-old Santino William Lagan opened fire at the festival on Sunday. As John Lawrence reports, police are now working to figure out his motive.
Gilroy, California, coming together after a crisis. Residents of the area thinking of those killed and injured in Sunday's shooting at the Gilroy Garlic Festival.
The Gilroy community will mourn, but we will get through it.
Among the victims, 6-year-old Stephen Romero.
They told me he was in critical condition, that they were working on him, and then 5 minutes later they told me that he was dead.
13-year-old Keila Salazar and 25-year-old Trevor Irby were also killed in the rampage that has shaken the community.
You know, before that time, they were just thinking about how garlic ice cream would taste. And now their lives are changed forever by this experience.
Authorities are learning more about the suspect. An account bearing his name posted 2 Instagram messages shortly before the shootings, one referencing the Garlic Festival and another that said, "Fire danger, hide today."
We found out that the rifle that this suspect used was an SKS. It was a AK-47 type assault rifle. It was purchased legally in the state of Nevada.
The suspect was killed by officers who responded to the scene.
Really don't expect that, you know, being from a quiet boy that doesn't get in trouble or anything.
John Lawrence, CBS 21 News This Morning.
Florida officials are investigating another shark attack in Volusia County. Officials say a shark bit an 18-year-old surfer's hand yesterday. Fortunately, he's expected to be okay, but this was the 3rd attack along Florida's coast in just a few days. Another surfer was bit near Jacksonville over the weekend.
It came out of the water after he went over the back of a wave, and it landed on him on his board and kind of knocked him off his board and bit him on the elbow.
There have been 6 shark attacks along Florida's coast so far this year. Police in North Carolina are investigating the drowning death of a 6-year-old boy from Pennsylvania. It happened Sunday afternoon at a home in the Outer Banks. According to police, family members performed CPR on the boy after he was found unresponsive in the pool. He was then taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police have not yet identified the child.
And now, CBS 21 News First Warning Weather with meteorologist Steve Knight.
Yeah, it's been hot here in central Pennsylvania. We've been in the 90s now, officially a heat wave for 3 straight days. Want to get you caught up, though, on something that's happening out in the Pacific, and you can get your bearings here. This is about 1,000 miles off the coast of Mexico, dealing with Tropical Storm Flossie. And Flossie is expected to strengthen into a Category 3 hurricane before perhaps weakening a little bit and eventually making a beeline toward Hawaii. It could be impacting Hawaii as a hurricane as early as this weekend. So just wanted you to be aware that there is something going on out there in the Pacific. It could be impacting Hawaii here this weekend with the hurricane. So we'll keep an eye on Flossie. In the meantime, it's just been hot here in central PA. 3 straight days, as I mentioned, in the 90s. Now, as I widen things out, the cold front gets here tomorrow. That is going to knock us back down into the 80s, but it's also, as cold fronts are this time of year, the trigger for some showers and some thunderstorms. That's our next weather maker here moving forward, is this cold front that's going to be heading our way. So future radar here, we see a pop-up shower or storm later on this afternoon and this evening, some of which could contain some isolated heavier downpours. I think that would be the biggest threat out of any storms that we see today, and perhaps even some gusty winds. And then a better chance of some more widespread scattered showers and storms tomorrow as the front actually comes through. Tomorrow's highs are only going to be in the mid-80s. That's right, mid-80s coming back tomorrow, but in exchange with that cold front, we're going to have scattered showers and storms. So isolated or pop-up storm this afternoon, better chance of scattered showers and storms tomorrow. And I do think we're mainly dry on Thursday. Thursday actually right now looking like a pretty nice day with some sunshine. A little cooler, back down into the 80s and a little bit less humid as well. But here you can see on the Muggy meter, that's really been the difference with this heat wave as opposed to the one that we had back in the middle of the month. We just haven't had the oppressive humidity to go along with it. So while our temperatures have been in the 90s, we haven't been talking about those heat index values soaring well up above those dangerous levels of 100. So 92 today, but if you've been looking for some relief, we've got that for you. Tomorrow, a little bit more in terms of cloud cover and certainly dealing with those afternoon scattered showers and storms. Thursday looking like a nice day. Friday, Saturday, both days will offer up at least stray thunderstorm chances, but don't have to cancel any of your outdoor plans. So some scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, as I mentioned, about a 30% chance that you could see one pop up. So just play it a little bit safe with the outdoor plans, the pool plans today, going for a high right around 92 degrees tonight. Stays fairly muggy overnight, and again, some scattered storms will still be around, only dropping down to around 70 for the overnight low. And here's the rest of your first morning 7-day forecast. So that's right, heading back to the 80s, and that's going to carry over into the weekend. Again, we'll keep the stray storm chances in there for you on Friday and Saturday. Don't think there'll be widespread outdoor plans. Should be just fine for the upcoming weekend.
A breast implant company is recalling some of its products due to a possible link to cancer. What local doctors are saying about the FDA's warning. But first, how to find the right tires for your car in this week's Auto Matters.
Auto Matters is brought to you by Select Collision.
We use the word car pretty interchangeably these days, but you may be driving a pickup truck or a minivan or an SUV. And because there are so many vehicles, there are an almost overwhelming number of tires. But all those vehicles do different things, and so do their tires. Think of shoes. You've got a pair for running, a pair for getting dressed up, a pair for bowling. It's the same going for tires. Sports cars, crossovers, pickup trucks all have specific tire needs. What you don't want to do is to put the wrong tire on your vehicle, because that can ruin the ride or take away from your vehicle's utility. Honestly, the easiest way to get the right tires for your vehicle is to check with our trusted car pros here in town.
Every car that leaves our facility is our rolling business card, and we understand that our customers' time is incredibly valuable, and we want to make sure everything is as convenient as it can be for them, and they can get their car back as quickly as possible so that they can get back on the road.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
This is awkward for me. As you well know from our Making a Difference shoots, compared to what we will experience once you're not around. Your experience, your guidance, everything that's you will be sorely missed. But while we'll miss you, we wish you and your family all the best in the next steps in your life.
Right now, things in Lancaster are moving well for us. No issues on our major roadways surrounding the city. Route 30 looks good, moving both east and westbound. It is still early, so you're probably going to be one of the only ones on the road this morning. The time now 5:24 a.m. 283 making your way up towards the Capitol, or if you're going to be heading into the city, looks good too. No issues for us in those inner city Lancaster roads. This traffic report is brought to you by CBS 21.
Doctors say a recall for a popular breast implant is not something to worry about. The FDA recently announced an issue with Allergan's textured implants. Officials are linking them to cancer cases and deaths. But a doctor we spoke with wants to make sure people understand the recall is voluntary and that the chances of getting cancer from the implant are rare.
The number one message, I think, is not to freak out about it. It's something that's extremely rare. It's a voluntary recall. And even the FDA has not recommended patients go out and get their implants changed out if they had a textured one. But the signs you're looking for are swelling, pain in the breast, some change in the breast that's significant.
We have a full list of the recalled products on our website, cbs21.com. Drug makers Pfizer and Mylan are teaming up to create a new company. Pfizer says it's going to combine its department called Upjohn with Mylan. Upjohn makes drugs that are no longer protected by patents, and that includes Viagra, Lipitor, and Celebrex. Mylan makes EpiPens, which is an emergency allergy treatment. The CDC says the number of measles cases in the U.S. has increased. There are now more than 1,160 cases in 30 states. Health officials say that's an increase from what was reported last week. Measles can be prevented with the MMR vaccine, which officials say is safe and effective. 10 presidential hopefuls will face off in Detroit tonight. The Democrats expected to stand out in the giant field of candidates, and why for some, these next 2 nights will be their last chance to grab the spotlight. Plus, a Republican congressman in our region will face his constituents tonight, but some say not enough of them. Why people will be protesting at Scott Perry's town hall venue. And Joe.
Millions of people risk losing eligibility to a popular benefits program. Coming up, what it means for central Pennsylvania and how you can weigh in on the debate.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
3, 2, 1. Hey, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry.
Give me a mic check.
I usually say, mic check, 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. What do you do?
I say good evening control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some people say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Pretty similar.
Everybody has a different one.
Sherry, this is going to sound so silly and so little, but Sherry's mic check warms my heart. Every morning, she always says, good morning, 8:26, whatever the time is. Good morning, 8:56. And there's just something about the way she does her mic check that you know she was made to say good morning to people. And I'm really, truly sad that I'm not going to hear that mic check every morning. Since I started, go ahead, you take it away.
I'm going to miss the fact that we were neighbors. That was the most important part to me. Even though it only really translated into rides to parades and stuff together and things like that, but it's still nice to know you're right around the corner and that all of our neighbors all know each other and they talk about us. And ever since that news of you leaving got out, I tell you, a lot of people have stopped me and introduced themselves to me to say, I heard Sherry Christian's leaving. Give her my best and tell her we'll really miss her. I know these two will really miss you guys.
Wrap.
All right, we're wrapped. No more mic checks.
Love you, Sherry.
Family Fest kicks off this weekend, and look at what we have here today. Gad stuff. 10 hoses of back. I love it. That's probably what they used to stop.
Sherry, it's almost impossible to fully articulate the impact that you've made here at the station and all across Central PA in countless lives. Your heart is as big as your smile, and those are 2 treasures that we will miss so sorely here. Thank you for being an outstanding coworker, but moreover, an even better friend. We love you so much.
Can't even look at you.
I know. We are literally not making eye contact.
Am I supposed to be able to get through 2 hours of telling folks the news?
Well, if you're just joining us this morning, it's a sad day here at CBS 21. There are tears. We're saying goodbye to Sherry, our beloved Sherry.
Yeah, after 17 years, it's her last day here with us. So how does it feel?
Oh my gosh, just overwhelmed. Overwhelmed with good positive emotions. I mean, especially when we see these images. My hair. Isn't that amazing?
You know, I have to tell you though, I don't see anything that's just like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, I don't see like that like prom photo where you go, what in the world was I thinking?
Right.
It's changed a little bit, but
I
have
remember
to say,
interviewing Leah Remini.
Yeah.
Oh my God, but yeah, so not too bad.
And you know, I've given you a lot of static over the years regarding your age because you're significantly older than me.
He's so significantly.
But see, the compliments always come with a little extra from Steve.
You really, I mean, you haven't changed, really. I mean, really, you can see that. I mean, you really haven't changed.
Dang,
Considering,
good genes,
yeah,
good
you've
genes.
gone from what?
You know, I don't do anything.
Thanks,
19 to 36 on this show, so you haven't changed.
This is recorded, right?
Right?
Oh boy. All right. Well, you know, we do have to talk a little bit of weather. It's been hot here. We're in the midst of a heat wave, and that is going to continue today. But we are getting out the door nice and dry. Now, I want to show you here on future radar because I think we could see a couple of pop-up showers and storms later on this afternoon, kind of with that heating in the day. And this will be the first nudge of a cold front that eventually will cool us back here for the second half of the week. So, yeah, one more day in the 90s, folks. Going for a high around 92. We'll watch out for a few pop-up storms late this afternoon and this evening. Cold front coming through tomorrow with the scattered storms, but look at that temperature, 84. And then a nice looking day on Thursday, sunshine and a high of 86.
We are working to learn more about a reported shooting in Lancaster County. It happened in Columbia around 8 last night, and crews are still on the scene at this time. They were called out near the area of North 3rd and Walnut Streets for a report of one person shot. We expect to hear more from police soon. Well, tonight kicks off another round of debates between the giant field of Democratic presidential candidates. They are once again happening on 2 nights. 10 Democrats, including frontrunners Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, will go head-to-head tonight. And then tomorrow night, 10 other candidates will face off, and that lineup includes Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. This morning, CBS News correspondent Laura Podesta is in Detroit with what we can expect.
Over the next 2 nights, 20 presidential hopefuls will be here in Detroit for the second Democratic debate. Like the last debate, the field is split into 2 groups of 10. Tonight includes Senators Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, former Congressman Beto O'Rourke, and South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
Somebody like Donald Trump should not be able to get within cheating distance of the Oval Office.
They'll try to balance attacking President Trump with debating the issues.
Now is the time to pass a Medicare for all single-payer program.
Donald Trump has brought us to the edge of war again in the Middle East.
CBS News Director of Elections and Surveys Anthony Salvanto says last month's debate will shape how the candidates try to stand out in the crowd.
Voters told us that they felt that candidates like Elizabeth Warren in particular, and also Bernie Sanders, were going to fight for people like them. Joe Biden didn't poll as well on that measure. He polled very well on being seen as electable, able to beat Donald Trump.
Voters here in Detroit also want to see how candidates take on President Trump's recent tweets, attacking 4 congresswomen of color and the city of Baltimore.
He knows exactly what he's doing. It's calculated.
It's going to all come down to compassion and policy.
This may be the last chance for some candidates to see the national stage. The next debate in September has a higher polling threshold that some won't reach. Laura Podesta, CBS News, Detroit.
Out of the 20 Democratic presidential candidates, only 8 have qualified for the September debate. So for many, these next 2 nights could make or break their campaigns. Governor Wolf is sending out a warning after the Trump administration announced a move to stop allowing states to exceed federal income eligibility thresholds. CBS 21's Joe Ducey is live in Harrisburg with how many Pennsylvanians could be affected. Morning, Joe.
Yeah, Sherry, good morning. Well, this could end up impacting millions across the country and hundreds of thousands right here in Pennsylvania. It all started last week when U.S. Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue issued a proposal that would end broad-based categorical eligibility for SNAP benefits, something 43 states use. In Pennsylvania, more than 1.7 million people rely on SNAP to afford food. According to the Wolf administration, the USDA proposal jeopardizes SNAP benefits for about 200,000 people and more than 120,000 Pennsylvania households. Local food bank officials say food insecurity is already a pervasive problem in central PA, and that this proposal could make it more difficult for working families and organizations that work to help them.
Food insecurity is obviously going to increase if this goes through, which means that not only will we have a higher demand for food, but we also have a higher demand for the other services we provide, furniture and computers and all those kinds of things, because people are funneling their money elsewhere.
Trump administration officials say the proposal would save an estimated $2.5 billion a year and help put an end to a loophole that allows some people to bypass important eligibility guidelines. There is a 60-day public comment period that's been set up. We've got a link on our website you could follow to weigh in on the debate. For now, reporting live in Harrisburg, Joe Ducey, CBS 21 News.
Thank you, Joe. Happening today in Lebanon, 2 Republican state representatives will hold a press conference about their proposal to, quote, reinvent government legislation. Representatives Frank Ryan and Seth Grove want to make 8 existing state agencies into 4 new state agencies. The measures would establish what they're calling best practices, meaning better government, economic prosperity, and stronger and healthier communities for taxpayers in Harrisburg. Today, Congressman Scott Perry will hold a town hall meeting in Dauphin County. He's set to answer questions from those living in the district he represents. However, there is controversy about where he is holding his meet and greet tonight. He'll appear at Hummelstown Fire Company at 5 o'clock, with many protesters planning to attend. They're upset that many of his constituents were unable to register for tickets, even though they responded within 30 minutes of receiving the meeting notice. They want him to move his meeting to a larger venue. New details about the Garlic Festival shooting in California, who police say the gunman was, and the posts he made on social media before the shooting. Plus, good news for 9/11 victims, the bill the president has signed and what it's ensuring for first responders who are still dealing with the aftermath of the attacks.
Not only more heat, but more sunshine today. Make sure you have plenty of sunscreen. That UV index very high. I'll let you know we could see a few thunderstorms with my first warning forecast.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
Oh, my dearest Sherry, I can't believe it's already time to bid you adieu. Over the last 6 years, we've become more than just colleagues, whether it be laughing, crying, maybe even sharing a few adult beverages. You've become a very good friend. Best of luck to yourself, Jeremy, and the girls. You're going to do great, and I will tell you what, all of Central PA will miss that bright smile and your positive, uplifting attitude. Good luck, my good friend. Don't be a stranger.
Well, about a 30% chance that we could see a pop-up thunderstorm later on this afternoon, some of which could contain some heavy downpours as the cold front really moves through tomorrow. A better chance of some scattered afternoon showers and storms, but that will knock our temperatures back into the 80s starting tomorrow. Humidity, at least for the most part, holding it in check, and it's not up at that oppressive level. It's been hot, but thankfully it hasn't been outrageously humid. That will continue today. One more day in the 90s. We'll look for that late day thunderstorm with a high of 92.
Things in York are moving swiftly along for us right now. No major delays or accidents that you need to worry about. We are seeing a little bit of slow go as you're making your way into the city, both from the east and the west on Route 30. But other than that, things look good in the inner city roads. Same goes for 83, making your way up towards the Capitol Beltway. This traffic report is brought to you by Orrstown Bank.
We're learning more about the gunman responsible for killing 3 people at a festival in California. Police say 19-year-old Santino William Legan opened fire in Gilroy on Sunday. Investigators say he posted at least 2 pictures on Instagram the day of the shooting. One showed the fairgrounds and another referred to an author with white nationalist views. Investigators have also searched a car and 2 homes in California and Nevada that are associated with Legan. Meanwhile, festival goers are recounting the tragic moment and mourning the lives lost.
The 25-year-old guy that passed away was right in front of me, and there was a lot of blood, and it just was very scary.
The 3 victims were 6, 13, and 25 years old. 12 others were wounded in the shooting. First responders and others who have gotten sick in the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks will now have enough money to pay their medical bills for the next 7 decades. Yesterday, President Trump signed a bill that ensures the Victims' Compensation Fund never runs out of money. It was set to end by 2020, but first responders and activists pleaded with lawmakers to keep the fund intact. Construction is set to begin on a major road in our area, how PennDOT plans to fix a sinkhole in Lebanon County, and the detours you can take to avoid it.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
Cal Ripken Jr. once said leadership is sharing your knowledge and direction so others could grow to reach their full potential. Sherry, it's been such a blessing and honor and a privilege to work with someone who's such a great role model, advocate for the community, and a true professional. Well, we're wishing you and your family all the best on your next adventure. There's no doubt you've left an everlasting impact here on Central PA, and you'll be dearly missed.
Happening today, excavation work is set to begin on a sinkhole in Lebanon County. PennDOT crews are still trying to fix that depression on Route 422 in North Londonderry Township after realizing the situation was actually worse than they originally thought. CBS 21's Brendan Kinney has more on the project and what neighbors are saying about it.
A constant flow of traffic right through this Lebanon County neighborhood.
It's been an unpleasant thing in a way.
Tom Storm and Marilyn Garadini living near the latest sinkhole to open up on 422 in North Londonderry Township. Once detour signs went up earlier this summer, they say more and more people are driving through their neighborhood to avoid the sinkhole. What are people saying? What are you seeing?
Well, what they're saying, I wouldn't want to tell you on TV, but I mean, some of the people really got pretty angry.
These barriers installed by the Homeowners Association helping to control the traffic.
This is a big safety hazard if they didn't have this up. And they look at us because we're right here on the end and we didn't put it up, but hey, I know the hazard.
The official detour around the 422 sinkhole is about 11 miles. For example, if you're coming from the west, PennDOT is asking drivers to take Route 117, then hop onto US 322. Then you'll make a left onto Route 934, which gets you back onto US 422.
It is set up for a reason. It is set up to handle the volume of traffic. It is set up to handle the weight of tractor trailers going through. Using the neighborhoods as shortcuts through is putting the neighborhood residents at danger.
On Tuesday, crews will start repairing the sinkhole. They're using a technique never before used in the Palmyra area. A concrete slab will cover 422. In order to support that slab, 84 steel columns will be drilled down to the rock bed.
We're hoping that this will be the time they get it fixed. I think that's what everybody's hoping for.
For CBS 21 News, I'm Brendan Kinney.
Thank you, Brendan. The project along 422 is expected to take about 4 months to finish. Detours will be in place until Thanksgiving.
And now, CBS 21 News First Warning Weather with meteorologist Steve Knight.
Well, we did it yesterday, getting into the 90s, making 3 straight days. So officially now a heat wave here in central PA. And looks like we're going to do it again today. Do want to get you caught up, though, with something that's happening out in the Pacific. Tropical storm Flossie. And this is about 1,000 miles west of Mexico and going to strengthen into a major hurricane. Now, watch the forecast path here because it's got Flossie has Hawaii directly in her sights. And we'll have to watch that as we get closer to the weekend. But it is possible at this point that Hawaii could deal with the impacts of a major hurricane this upcoming weekend. So certainly worth watching. In the meantime, it's just hot for us again this morning. It's muggy, temperatures in the upper 60s and in the low 70s. Widen things out a little bit. Here's the cold front that's eventually going to bring us relief. We'll be back into the 80s starting tomorrow and for the remainder of the week. So yeah, today we're going to get back into the 90s. That'll make 4 straight days, but it's coming to a crashing halt. Now, cold fronts this time of year, that's how we get rid of heat waves, but also they spark thunderstorms. And I think we'll see at least a little bit of a wave here later on this afternoon, some of which could contain some heavy downpours. That's really, I think, our biggest threat out of these storms today. You could get caught on one of those isolated heavy downpours. Could be a little bit gustier tomorrow. We start out quiet and then typical timing, late afternoon, evening hours. We watch out for another wave of thunderstorms by late in the day tomorrow and even into tomorrow evening. That's the actual cold front coming through. That's going to cool us back. So about a 30% chance of a pop-up shower or storm this afternoon, 40% tomorrow. Thursday right now is looking like a pretty good day. I think it's going to be dry and sunny with highs in the mid-80s. Of course, we haven't dealt with the oppressive humidity during this heat wave. At least the humidity, yes, it's sticky, but at least those humidity levels aren't driving the heat index values well over 100. So 92 today, and then that cold front does its thing, and we're back down into the 80s. Notice our average high here late July, early August, 85 degrees. So we'll be back closer to where we should be. So again, about a 30% chance that we deal with that isolated or pop-up thunderstorm later on this afternoon as we see that high once again get to right around 92 degrees. Tonight, a few scattered shower storms. Keep that in mind even for the evening plans tonight. 70 the overnight low. And here's the rest of your first morning 7-day forecast. So that cold front does its thing. It knocks those temperatures back down to where they should be this time of year, back down into the 80s. Straight thunderstorm on Saturday, but I think by and large weekend plans should be just fine.
Well, if you regularly tune in here to CBS 21 News this morning, you know we like to have fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's always been the case for Sherry, even 17 years ago when she first started here. This morning, we're taking a look back at our favorite Sherry moments as she gets ready to say goodbye to Central PA.
Thank you. You have 6 days until Father's Day, maybe even less for graduation day. But don't fret, we have some great high-tech ideas for grads and dads. Canadians everywhere, are celebrating as the Toronto Raptors become the first team outside the U.S. to win an NBA championship.
This is one of the animals we'll have out this year. Chanel
hold the tails up. Am I okay, Troy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She's descended.
Say hello to Mythbusters, Adam Savage, and Jamie Heineman. Good morning, gentlemen. And what was the flavor that he wanted?
It was like caramel. It's caramel.
Right. To the stockade for you.
Right. Cancel the meat.
The weather outside gets frightful.
Just
And
throw one of my logs on the fire.
Sit back, enjoy the delicious smell of my fried chicken.
And Dylan, this is what they combed your hair with? A toothbrush?
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Sherry
okay.
just
I'll
lost
handle my bracelet after
There's
the
nothing
the
to
break.
see here. Let's go to weather.
I always see people doing it,
It's
and
like-
I don't know how they doing it.
I don't think that's it.
Actually coming from the sweet and the tart cherries. So that will come
That's
through.
good.
very
Even at this
subtle.
hour, it's good.
All right, Ashley, the horses are back in town.
The horses are back in town. The horses are back in town. As they get prepared for your grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. And apparently the Academy's in love with The Shape of Water. It came in with 13 nominations, left with the most Oscars. Joining me this morning to talk about Dauphin County's e-cycling event is Commissioner Jeff Haste. Commissioner Haste, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, and for bringing a special guest.
Yes.
We'll talk about him in just a minute.
Here's the only problem, Sherry. If you come walking in, you're going to disappear. This is awesome.
Thank you, Steve.
Sherry's wearing a green dress today.
Half of those are singing. We love to sing.
Love it, love it. Yeah, Ashley and I are always jamming out, and Steve is always reminding me I should leave it to whoever sings the song
Who
originally.
sings those songs, Sherry? Well,
let them sing.
Yeah.
So
Thank
much
you, guys.
fun.
Yeah.
Down memory lane. Man.
Absolutely. Wow.
Good times.
Lots of different hairstyles.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, another car show revs into Central PA this week. From cheap to luxury, we'll show you what kinds of vehicles you can get your hands on and where.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
Ah, look at that happy bunch right there. For 3 years, it was Joel D., Sherry, Steve Knight. Eventually, we got some help from Brandy as well. Oh, remember shooting this? It was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Yep, we had a good time for 3 years on the set, having fun, talking about some serious stuff when we had to, but you really showed me the ropes. My first full-time news anchoring job, Sherry Christian. Thank you very much. We were on the desk for so many big stories, but what I'm going to remember most from you is the fun we had away from the desk, talking about our families, talking about our careers, and having so much fun because we were dancing. As much as we were saying anything else and giving people the news, you were there for me when my Capitals lost over and over and over again, and I was ready to have a breakdown on the set. You were there for me then. I know you're heading to my old stomping grounds of Baltimore. I hope you do whatever you do to the best of your ability. And remember, just like here, I will always be behind you. I'll always have your back. God bless you, Sherry Christian. Love you.
Getting a check-in now with our roads moving around Harrisburg, where we're doing just fine. Happy to report right now, no major accidents, slow goes or delays that you're going to need to be worrying about on the PA Turnpike. That's moving along swiftly. Same goes for things moving around the Capitol Beltway 581, making your way through Camp Hill there towards the York Split. Lots of green on the screen. This is always a beautiful sight to see first thing in the morning. The time now 5:56 a.m. No issues for us on our inner city Harrisburg roads. This traffic report is brought to you by Orrstown Bank.
If you're in need of a new car, tomorrow you'll have the perfect opportunity to shop around. I had to do it, right? The Mecum car auction being held at the Farm Show Complex in Harrisburg. The 3-day event will feature 1,500 vehicles. Officials say you can find a car no matter what your budget is.
That we're the type of auction where we'll have $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000 and $5,000 cars. We'll have mid-level, 20, 30, 40, 50,000, 100,000, but then we also get into the $1 million cars.
If you're not looking to make any purchases, there are plenty of other activities you can enjoy, including food and a chance to drift with a professional driver. A 16-year-old kid from Montgomery County, Pennsylvania is now a millionaire, all thanks to a video game. Kyle Giersdorf won $3 million after winning the Fortnite World Cup Championship in New York on Sunday. And take a look at how his payout compared to other major tournaments. He won more than Tiger Woods was awarded at this year's Masters. He also surpassed the prize money for Wimbledon and the Daytona 500.
It's just a crazy moment. I don't know. No, it's like you get out there, the adrenaline's rushing, and you just hold up that trophy and hear the crowd roar. It's amazing.
About 40 million players competed for a chance to play in the Fortnite tournament finals. Well, filming a music video takes a deadly turn. What police are saying about a person killed in Philly this weekend and an earlier incident he may have been involved in.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
Hey Sherry, you've woken Central PA up the past 17 years with a smile. Your class, wit, and spirit will be missed.
Live from Central Pennsylvania, this is CBS 21 News this morning.
This morning, an investigation is underway after a late-night shooting in Columbia, Lancaster County. Plus, Democrats will hold their second round of debates in Detroit before the overwhelming majority of them move on to campaign in Nevada. And Governor Wolf warning that about 200,000 people could be in jeopardy after President Trump announces a food stamps crackdown. Those stories and more coming up, but first, we are beginning the show a little differently today.
Family Fest kicks off this weekend.
Voila.
And look at what we have here today.
Gas
Yeah,
stop. 10 hoses of back. I love it. That's probably what they used to stop. Look at my CT, Tom. I just want to kiss her whole face. If you haven't heard, today's my last day here at CBS 21. So for the last time, good morning and welcome to CBS 21 News this morning. I'm Sherry Christian.
Yes.
Take it away, you guys.
Yeah, Steve Knight here along with Ashley Honey. And, well, you know, take us through it. How do you feel this morning? Last time walking through those doors after 17 years?
Everything has been a last this morning. When my alarm clock rang 2 o'clock.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. You know,
that's the last time.
last time, walking through the doors, right?
Yeah.
And saying good morning, everyone. It's hard to, it's really hard to put into words, and I know that's what I do for a living, and for the last 17 years here, but that's why it's so hard, because of the strong relationships, personal and professional, that have built over the years. And then when the announcement of my departure was posted, just the responses from the community,
You're loved. You're so loved beyond belief.
Maybe you were surprised I wasn't.
Were you not?
No,
oh, man.
Oh, man. Well, we're so glad that you're joining us this morning, because all morning long, you're in for a treat. We will be honoring Sherry's legacy here at CBS 21 by showing you old clips from throughout the years, and there's some pretty good ones.
Yeah, we'll also be sharing some goodbye messages from not only current employees, but also some former anchors and colleagues of Sherry's. We've already seen some old faces from CBS 21. Pop up here this morning, but you've had an impact on so many people outside of these walls, but also inside these walls as well, and the people that you've worked with. And I was thinking about this morning, when you and I first started together, my son was a baby. I think he was 1, and he's starting college in like 2.5 weeks.
Oh,
that's
my
crazy.
word.
I know. We've been together that whole time.
That whole time.
Yeah.
You know?
So, yeah, kind
Doesn't
of puts
get better
it in
than that.
perspective. So.
All right. Well, I'm definitely going to need y'all's help throughout the next hour.
Got the tissues
Get
handy?
me through it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We've had a hot stretch, no doubt about it. We've been in the 90s the last 3 days. It's a quiet start, though, out there this morning. Temperatures 60s and 70s, so yeah, it's feeling a little bit steamy. Now, the approaching cold front that's going to get rid of the heat and knock down some of the humidity really won't take effect until tomorrow, but we could see that isolated shower or storm popping up later on this afternoon. I think about a 30% chance that we could see one later on today. So we'll look for a few pop-up storms one more day in the 90s with that high of 92. The cold front comes through tomorrow. Better chance of scattered storms during the afternoon, but you notice the relief. Both tomorrow and Thursday will feature highs in the 80s.
We are working to learn more about a late-night shooting in Lancaster County. Dispatchers tell us police were called out to the intersection of North 3rd and Walnut Streets in Columbia just after 8 last night. Details are limited, but we do know crews are still on the scene. We expect police to release new information at some point this morning. The second set of Democratic presidential debates kicks off today, and for some of the candidates, it will be their last chance to shine. The 20 hopefuls will face off tonight and tomorrow night in Detroit. It's a city that has struggled over the years with not only unemployment rates, but also race relations. Detroit is roughly 80% African American, so the candidates' history and policies will be tested.
The black community
is the base of the Democratic Party. It's not the progressives or the far left or what have you. It's African Americans. Being able to talk to those voters, get their support is going to be crucial.
The stakes are high. To qualify for the third set of debates in September, candidates must raise money from more donors and hit higher polling thresholds. The tougher rules are set by the Democratic National Committee to narrow the race. Many of the candidates will take their campaigns to Nevada next, which is the third state to hold a primary or caucus. Changes could be coming for millions of Americans who use food stamps. The Trump administration proposing a change to the way states determine who qualifies for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. CBS 21's Joe Ducey is live at the state capitol with more on what it could mean for families right here in Central PA. Morning, Joe.
Yeah, Sherry, good morning. This all began last week after USDA Secretary Sonny Perdue released a proposal that would curtail eligibility for the SNAP program. It would end broad-based categorical eligibility for SNAP benefits, something 43 states, including Pennsylvania, use. Trump administration officials say the proposal would save an estimated $2.5 billion a year, and this change would help put an end to a loophole that allows some people to game the system by effectively bypassing important eligibility guidelines. We caught up with the director of a local food bank, Hope Harrison, the executive director at Mission Central. She says food insecurity is already a pervasive problem across central Pennsylvania.
I foresee less people having access to SNAP will just increase that by leaps and bounds. So I think that that's really going to put a burden on food banks that are out there.
Governor Wolf is weighing in on the proposal. He released a statement saying, a part quote, "This proposed change to SNAP benefits is punishment for working families across America. I oppose this ludicrous change that will hurt tens of thousands of Pennsylvanians, creating an undue burden and more food insecurity for families, older Pennsylvanians, and people with disabilities who already struggle to put food on the table." This could also end up impacting school lunch programs, and we'll have a little bit more on that coming up next half hour. For now, reporting live in Harrisburg, Joe Ducey, CBS 21 News.
Thank you, Joe. Testimony resumes today in a Franklin County murder trial. John Wayne Strasser of West Virginia is accused of killing 28-year-old Timothy Osti Davison of Maine near Chambersburg in January of 2014. Both sides presented their opening statements in court yesterday, with the prosecution playing a recording of Davison's 911 call. He could be heard saying, "This guy is firing shots at me." Prosecutors say it was a case of mistaken identity, and they believe Strasser was targeting a couple he had a contentious relationship with. Strasser is currently serving a life sentence for killing another person in West Virginia. Police say a rapper killed in a shooting while filming a music video in Philadelphia may have also been the target of an early morning gunfight that same day. 21-year-old Ezra Weah, known as Bankroll Gambino in rap circles, was one of 10 people shooting the video when 2 people got out of a car and opened fire Sunday night. Weah was pronounced dead at the scene. 5 others were injured. A California community trying to move forward after a fatal shooting at an annual festival. How people are honoring the victims as police release new details about the suspect. Plus, masked men terrorizing a local city, what they're wanted for, and why police are having a hard time catching them.
Well, the heat wave is set to roll on once again today. I'll let you know when some relief is coming with my first warning forecast.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
Hey Sherry, I'm so excited for you to begin your new journey in Baltimore. You are going to have a great time there, I'm sure. You were such an inviting person. It was great to be around you, even though we don't get to spend a lot of time together on opposite shifts. But you were always so kind, and your enthusiasm and your energy is just contagious. So I wish you the best of luck, and to you and your family as well. See ya.
Well, a lot of us do have a chance of staying dry this afternoon. We do have that thunderstorm risk back in the forecast this afternoon. It's going to be pretty warm, pretty muggy. And tomorrow, a better chance of actually seeing some more widespread scattered showers and storms. That'll be the advancing cold front that'll finally knock our temperatures back down into the 80s. Yes, it's been sticky, but thankfully we haven't had to deal with the oppressive humidity during this heat wave, and that trend will continue. So about a 30% chance to see that pop-up afternoon thunderstorm, some of which could contain some locally heavy downpours. So just kind of keep your guard up with the outdoor plans. A high today of 92.
And a happy Tuesday to you. Checking in with our roads this morning where we're off to a pretty nice start this morning. No accidents to let you know about, no slow goes or delays, anything like that. If you're going to be heading out the door, hopping onto any of our major roadways across central PA, Route 30 moving especially well. If you're going to be taking a trip over towards York this morning, maybe even as far as Gettysburg, no issues on 283 if you're going to be making your way up towards the Capitol. This traffic report is brought to you by LB Smith Ford, Central PA's big Ford store.
Today, there will be an autopsy for a man who died in a house fire in York County. The coroner believes Victor Gaiman died in Sunday night's fire in the 1500 block of Crafts Mill Road in North Codorus Township. The coroner says he lived in the house, but his body has not yet been positively identified. Officials are now asking his family members to call the coroner's office. Police are searching for this masked man who was caught on camera illegally riding an ATV in Harrisburg. And community members say this happens often, with riders speeding through neighborhood roads. They're worried it could one day cause a major accident.
They just come out of nowhere, you know, and you'll hear them before you see them.
Yeah, they're loud.
Yeah, and the next thing you know, they're up beside you, or they're coming past you, they're pulling wheelies and stuff like that there. So if they're pulling wheelies, what control do they have?
I worry a lot too because it's like those small kids up at the North Street.
Police are now asking neighbors to send in any pictures or videos they may have of these riders. 2 people have been arrested in connection to a string of bank robberies along the East Coast, including one in our area. Circe Baez and Alexis Morales were arrested Sunday in Charlotte, North Carolina. The FBI says Baez robbed 4 banks, starting with one in Carlisle on July 20th. She's been dubbed the Pink Lady Bandit after being spotted with a pink handbag in 2 of the incidents. Morales was allegedly her accomplice. More shark attacks are sparking fear along the Florida coast, where the last one happened and how many there have been in Sunshine State this year.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
Hi, Sherry. Shane Scalacci here. Wow, 17 years. I wish you the best in your next chapter in your life. Some of my favorite moments were with you and Steve from 2002 to 2007. Best of luck to you. Miss you.
Police have identified the 3 people who were killed during a food festival in California. The victims were 6, 13, and 25 years old. Police say 19-year-old Santino William Legan opened fire at the festival on Sunday. As John Lawrence reports, police are now working to figure out his motive.
Gilroy, California, coming together after a crisis. Residents of the area thinking of those killed and injured in Sunday's shooting at the Gilroy Garlic Festival.
The Gilroy community will mourn, but we will get through it.
Among the victims, 6-year-old Stephen Romero.
They told me he was in critical condition, that they were working on him, and then 5 minutes later they told me that he was dead.
13-year-old Keila Salazar and 25-year-old Trevor Irby were also killed in the rampage that has shaken the community.
You know, before that time, they were just thinking about how garlic ice cream would taste. And now their lives are changed forever by this experience.
Authorities are learning more about the suspect. An account bearing his name posted 2 Instagram messages shortly before the shootings, one referencing the Garlic Festival and another that said, "Fire danger, hide today."
We found out that the rifle that this suspect used was an SKS. It was a AK-47 type assault rifle. It was purchased legally in the state of Nevada.
The suspect was killed by officers who responded to the scene.
Really don't expect that, you know, being from a quiet boy that doesn't get in trouble or anything.
John Lawrence, CBS 21 News This Morning.
Florida officials are investigating another shark attack in Volusia County. Officials say a shark bit an 18-year-old surfer's hand yesterday. Fortunately, he is expected to be okay, but this was the 3rd attack along Florida's coast in just a few days. Another surfer was bitten near Jacksonville over the weekend.
It came out of the water after he went over the back of a wave, and it landed on him on his board and kind of knocked him off his board and bit him on the elbow.
There have been 6 shark attacks along Florida's coast so far this year.
And now, CBS 21 News First Warning Weather with meteorologist Steve Knight.
Well, we did it yesterday. We got into the 90s. That was the 3rd straight day, officially making it a heat wave. And Good chance we're going to do that once again today. Do want to get you caught up, though, on something that's happening out in the Pacific. We're going to start to hear more and more here this week about Tropical Storm Flossie, located about 1,000 miles west of Mexico. But here's the concern here as we track Flossie heading toward the weekend. Looks like Flossie wants to make a beeline toward Hawaii, perhaps striking Hawaii or near Hawaii as a hurricane this weekend. So we'll be keeping an eye on Flossie here throughout the week. In the meantime, quiet for us as we start the day. 60s and 70s, certainly a bit steamy out there this morning. Widen things out a bit. Check it out. Here's the cold front. You can see that line of showers along the front. This is the one that's going to bring us some relief. How do you get rid of a heat wave in the summer? You attack it with cold fronts. But as we know, a cold front this time of year often means some scattered showers and storms. So that's our next weather maker here moving forward. Let's show you what we have on the future radar. This afternoon, I think we see a pop-up shower or storm. You get caught underneath one of these, they could have some isolated heavy downpours. Tomorrow, the actual front moves through. We start out quiet, then we'll watch for that front to kind of develop during the afternoon. Better chance of some more widespread scattered showers and storms by tomorrow afternoon. So there you see that rain risk today, about 30% chance that you could see that shower or storm in your backyard. There'll be more widespread tomorrow thanks to the front finally moving through, but that's going to knock down our temperatures. Smoggy meter, we haven't dealt with the oppressive humidity this week. And notice we do get that little bit of a dip, little bit of a break Thursday into Friday. Don't get me wrong, it's been pretty sticky, but we just haven't had that real high humidity, which would lead to us seeing those excessive heat warnings. So 92 today, but then look what happens. Yeah, we're going to actually drop those temperatures back down to where we should be. Average high this time of year is 85. That's kind of where we're going to hover here as we head toward the upcoming weekend, as we're done with the 90s after today, at least for now. Probably some more 90s coming our way once we get into August. But for today, looking for that high right around 92. As I mentioned, about a 30% chance of that thunderstorm popping up during the late afternoon and evening hours. Keep that in mind. Evening plans tonight. Scattered storm around. I don't think they'll be widespread. It stays muggy. Notice that overnight low, only 70 degrees. And here's the rest of your first warning, 7-day forecast. So scattered storms tomorrow. That's part of that cold front knocking down our temperatures. And you can see we're back down to the 80s. Stray storm on Friday and Saturday. I don't think they're widespread. By and large, the weekend itself is looking pretty good for us, and certainly at least a little cooler with highs in the mid to upper 80s.
A breast implant company is recalling some of its products due to a possible link to cancer. What local doctors are saying about the FDA's warning.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
Sherry Christian, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. I cannot believe that the day has come for you to spread your wings. I know Central PA is going to miss you. I've already been missing you, and maybe y'all been missing me a little bit too. But congratulations. Good luck to you in everything that you do. We love you. We're going to follow you. And Steve, you have permission to cry, okay? Mwah, 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 mwah. Good luck, girl.
Hi, Sherry. It's a shame that we never really got to work on the same shift, but I can tell you that you are going to be missed terribly within the newsroom. Really, you were just a ray of light to the newsroom. You were always a person that I could go and talk to if I had questions or if I needed to find different sources in the community. I always knew that you would be a helping hand. I am really excited for this new chapter in your life and really only wish you the best. We love you, Sherry.
It's a bittersweet day here, to say the least, but you're in for a treat this morning if you're just joining us. We do have an accident to let you know about right now on Route 30 westbound at Centerville Road. A shoulder is blocked there, so really nothing major, but something to keep in mind if you are going to be heading west, perhaps if you're going to be heading towards from Lancaster towards York this morning. Just a heads up there. But other than that, major roadways in our area, 283, the PA Turnpike, all moving smoothly. This traffic report is brought to you by L.B. Smith Ford, Central PA's big Ford store.
U.S. Soccer says the players on the World Cup champion women's national team were paid more than their male counterparts. The federation says it paid more than $34 million in salary and game bonuses to the women between 2010 and 2018. The men got $26 million. In March, the women's team filed a federal lawsuit claiming they're not compensated the same way the men are. The two sides have agreed to mediation to settle the suit. Doctors say a recall for a popular breast implant is not something to worry about. The FDA recently announced an issue with Allergan's textured implants. Officials are linking them to cancer cases and deaths. But a doctor we spoke with wants to make sure people understand the recall is voluntary and that the chances of getting cancer from the implant are rare.
The number one message, I think, is not to freak out about it. It's something that's extremely rare. It's a voluntary recall, and even the FDA has not recommended patients go out and get their implants changed out if they had a textured one. But the signs you're looking for are swelling, pain in the breast, some change in the breast that's significant.
And we have a full list of the recalled products on our website, CBS21.com. The CDC says the number of measles cases in the U.S. has increased. There are now more than 1,160 cases in 30 states. Health officials say that's an increase from what was reported last week. Measles can be prevented with the MMR vaccine, which officials say is safe and effective. 10 presidential hopefuls will face off in Detroit tonight. The Democrats expected to stand out in the giant field of candidates, and why for some, these next 2 nights will be their last chance to grab the spotlight. Plus, a Republican congressman in our region will face his constituents tonight, but some say not enough of them, why people will be protesting at Scott Perry's town hall venue. And Joe.
Millions of people risk losing eligibility to a popular benefit program, coming up what it could mean for Central PA and how you could weigh in on the debate.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
Hi, Sherry. Jamie Myers here. Well, I'm one of the lucky ones that I get to say that I worked with you not just once, but twice. The first time was in Detroit almost 20 years ago. When we met, I was an intern and you were still Sherry Jones at that point. And then of course again in Central Pennsylvania. I loved working with you, but more than that, I love you as a friend. And I'm so excited that you're taking this leap into this next chapter of your life. And I'm wishing you and Jeremy and the girls all the best. Love you.
Fest kicks off this weekend, and look at what we have here today. Gad stuff. 10 hoses of back. I love it. That's probably what they used to stop it.
Well, Sherry, 17 years, and I have to say the biggest question that I get from viewers when I'm out and about, they always want to know, what's Sherry really like? And that's the biggest compliment that I can pay you, is that my answer has always been the same. That person that you see on the air with the warm personality, the great sense of humor, that person that's upbeat, that is exactly who you are off camera. And we know there are some phony people that are in this business that are one way off the air, and then when that red light comes on, they kind of flip a switch and they're a little bit of a different person. That is not you at all. And I think that's been a big key to your success over the years here in Central Pennsylvania. The other thing I want everybody to know is that Sherry and I have been together for 17 years, day in and day out, every morning, oftentimes sitting right next to each other. And you and I have never had an argument, and we've never raised our voices to each other. And that speaks, I think, to our relationship and how much we truly care about each other well beyond these walls here at CBS 21. I'm sad to see you go. It breaks my heart, but I'm happy for what's to come for you. Best of luck to you, Jeremy, the girls. I love you. And the Phillies are still better than the Orioles. And you still can't sing. I love you, Sherry.
You had to end it that way because you had to end. We have to have comic relief for this.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, they wanted everybody to record their message. It was like, 15 or 20 seconds. I'm like, 17 years in 20 seconds?
Not happening.
That's not going to happen. So, but I meant every word I said, and that's one thing I wanted to get out there. I mean, you and I have joked over the years about, work wife, work husband.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, a lot of weeks we spend more time with each other than we do with our actual
exactly.
wives. So with our significant others.
You know Jeremy, I know Stephanie, but and Stephanie, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Steve.
It's really amazing because it doesn't always work that way in this business, and when we didn't choose to be put together.
Right.
We were quote unquote thrown together, forced together, whatever. And,
exactly.
And you just never know how it's going to work out with that other person, and boy, has it worked out well.
Really well, Steve.
Really well.
I don't know if you said that there was an article, Penn Live put an article, because Sean had interviewed me over the weekend, and one of the things I told him was, like Dorothy said to the Scarecrow, I will miss you the most.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Sherry. This is the tough stuff. Okay.
But such a special bond
Yeah,
that you two have.
definitely.
It's
Definitely.
the best.
Yeah. Okay. We do have to talk a little bit of weather here. It's been hot, as you know. We've been in the midst of a heat wave. We got into the 90s again yesterday. So here's what we're looking at this morning. It's nice and dry as you step outside, but it's warm again. Lots of spots are already in the 70s as we start the day. Now, we do have a cold front approaching from the west. This is going to spark an isolated shower or thunderstorm this afternoon. I don't think they're going to be widespread. About a 30% chance that you could see one, but this is the leading edge of the cold front that will knock our temperatures down and bring us some relief. Better chance of scattered storms tomorrow with highs in the 80s. And then Thursday looking like a good day. Sunny skies, certainly cooler with highs in the mid 80s.
We are working to learn more about a reported shooting in Lancaster County. It happened in Columbia around 8 last night. Crews are still on the scene at this time. They were called out near the area of North 3rd and Walnut Streets for a report of one person shot. We expect to hear more from police soon. Tonight, 10 Democratic candidates will go head-to-head in a debate, followed by another one tomorrow. And they follow last month's two-night event, which shattered records for the biggest television audience for a Democratic primary matchup. Our Sinclair National correspondent, Christine Fazal, is in Washington with what we can expect to see tonight.
One thing that can be said about tonight and tomorrow night is it will be some candidates' final audition on the national stage. Who makes it to the next round of Campaign 2020 will depend on ideas, policies, and a little bit of personality.
You got a response.
Point here.
The problem with what the vice president knows.
So no, it's my turn.
Pardon the interruption, but if you do it again, you'll see your talking time reduced. One warning from CNN to the Democratic candidates this time around.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Another change? No show of hands questions, though they were effective in illustrating who stood where on certain topics in a short period of time.
Who here would abolish their private health insurance in favor of a government-run plan?
And what about those ideas some in the middle view as radical?
I think you are seeing a pendulum swing.
Democratic strategist Penny Lee says that swing to the left could be a response by candidates to what they saw in 2016.
What we have seen in the past, and we always have, is both sides play to their base and then kind of come to the moderate middle. What the left is asking for this year is to say, don't lurch back to the middle. Look what happened to Hillary. She lost because of it.
But some worry those progressive policies could alienate independents and moderates, including those who voted for Barack Obama in 2012 and then Donald Trump in 2016. Perhaps one reason candidates like Joe Biden are remaining more moderate on issues like health care.
Well, I find that people will say that for Medicare for all, but they're not going to tax the middle class because we don't need to do that. Come on. What is this? Is this a fantasy world here?
All right, here's one thing to watch. Whether the candidates continue to follow some of the more progressive ideals or whether we see some of them move a little bit more toward the middle. One more thing, the last debate we got very few questions, if any, about foreign policy positions of the 20 candidates, so we'll see if some of those questions make it in this time. Reporting from Detroit, I'm Christine Frazau. Back to you.
Thank you, Christine. Governor Wolf is sending out a warning after the Trump administration announced a SNAP benefits proposal. The move would stop allowing states to exceed federal income eligibility thresholds. CBS 21's Joe Ducey is live in Harrisburg with how many Pennsylvanians could be affected. Morning, Joe.
Yeah, Sherry, good morning. Well, this could end up impacting millions of people across the country and hundreds of thousands right here in Pennsylvania. It all started last week when the U.S. Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue issued a proposal that would end broad-based categorical eligibility for SNAP benefits, something 43 states use. In Pennsylvania, more than 1.7 million people rely on SNAP to afford food. According to the Wolf administration, the USDA proposal jeopardizes SNAP benefits for about 200,000 people in more than 120,000 Pennsylvania households. Local food bank officials say food insecurity is already a pervasive problem across central PA, and this could make things more difficult for working families and organizations that work to help them.
Food insecurity is obviously going to increase if this goes through, which means that not only will we have a higher demand for food, but we also have a higher demand for the other services we provide, furniture and computers and all those kinds of things, because people are funneling their money elsewhere.
Trump administration officials say the proposal could save an estimated $2.5 billion a year and would help put an end to loopholes that allow some people to bypass important eligibility guidelines. There has been a 60-day public comment period set up by the USDA. You could go to our website, cbs21.com. We've got a link where you could provide feedback regarding any concerns you may have over the proposal. For now, reporting live in Harrisburg, Joe Ducey, CBS 21 News.
Thank you, Joe. Happening today in Lebanon, 2 Republican state representatives will hold a press conference about their proposal to, quote, reinvent government legislation. Representatives Frank Ryan and Seth Grove want to make 8 existing state agencies into 4 new state agencies. The measures would establish what they're calling best practices, meaning better government, economic prosperity, and stronger and healthier communities for taxpayers in Harrisburg. Today, Congressman Scott Perry will hold a town hall meeting in Dauphin County. He's set to answer questions from those living in the district he represents. However, there's controversy about where he is holding his meet and greet tonight. He'll appear at Hummelstown Fire Company at 5 o'clock, with many protesters planning to attend. They say they're upset that many of his constituents were unable to register for tickets, even though they responded within 30 minutes of receiving the meeting notice. They want him to move his meeting to a larger venue. New details about the Garlic Festival shooting in California, who police say the gunman was, and the posts he made on social media before the shooting.
Well, heating up again today with that a lot of sunshine. Make sure you have the sunscreen packed along because the UV index very high once again. I'll let you know we could see a few isolated thunderstorms as well with my first morning forecast.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
Hey Sherry, I remember your first day at the station. We went out together and it's been like, 40 years since you've been there, so I don't remember what the story was. But good luck with everything. We're going to miss watching you every morning, and take care. Bye.
Well, we're looking at one more day with a high getting into the 90s. I'm thinking low 90s today. That'll be 4 days in a row, though. We are going to have to watch out for an isolated pop-up thunderstorm this afternoon, about a 30% chance. And better chance of some scattered showers and storms tomorrow afternoon. That's the cold front coming through that'll knock our highs back down into the 80s for the remainder of the week, and also take a little bit of a bite out of the humidity. You notice that toward the back end of the week. One thing we haven't had, though, is the oppressive humidity this week. It's been warm, it's been sticky, but at least we haven't had those dew points getting into the 70s. Good chance to perhaps get a little yard work done today. Just watch out for that pop-up storm with a high near 92.
Well, a heads up if you're going to be commuting in Lancaster County this morning, specifically on Route 30 westbound. We have an accident here at Centerville Road. Luckily, only a shoulder is blocked, so it's not causing too much of a backup or delay right now, but definitely something to keep in mind if you're going to be heading in that direction. Remember to move on over to allow those emergency officials ample room there. No other issues for us on our major roadways, though. 283 looks good. Same goes for the PA Turnpike. This traffic report is brought to you by the all-new Turner Chevrolet in Harrisburg.
We're learning more about the gunman police say is responsible for killing 3 people at a festival in California. Police say 19-year-old Santino William Lagan opened fire in Gilroy on Sunday. Investigators say he posted at least 2 pictures on Instagram the day of the shooting. One showed the fairgrounds and another referred to an author with white nationalist views. Investigators have also searched a car and 2 homes in California and Nevada that are associated with Lagan. Meanwhile, festival goers are recounting the tragic moment and mourning the lives lost.
The 25-year-old guy that passed away was right in front of me, and there was a lot of blood, and it just was very scary.
The 3 victims were 13, 6, and 25 years old. Construction is set to begin on a major road in our area. How PennDOT plans to fix a sinkhole in Lebanon County and the detours you can take to avoid it.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
I can't think of a classier, more professional, kinder person than Sherry. You know, Sherry and I started here at the TV station around the same time, and what she's done for this community over all these years is just incredible. So I've been proud to call her my colleague, my co-worker, but more importantly, my friend. I'll miss you big time, Sherry.
And now, CBS 21 News First Warning Weather with meteorologist Steve Knight.
Well, the weather story's been all about the heat here lately. We've done 3 straight days now into the 90s, and that trend will continue today. Want to get you caught up with something that's happening out in the Pacific, just south of California and west of Mexico. This is Tropical Storm Flossie, and notice strengthening to a hurricane, and then unfortunately it looks like Flossie might make a beeline for the Hawaiian Islands here this weekend. So that could be a big national story, as Hawaii looks like it could be in the sights of a hurricane by this weekend, but we'll keep an eye on that. In the meantime, we do have the cold front pushing in from the west. It's a dry start for us here this morning. It's warm. Temperatures already in the 70s in many spots, but by tomorrow, we are going to get back down into the 80s. How you get rid of a heat wave? You attack it with cold fronts. But as we know, this time of year, we get those cold fronts sliding through, and they can trigger afternoon showers and thunderstorms. And I think we'll see at least a few pop up later on this afternoon. This is 4:30 this afternoon. Heading home from work, we'll start to see that pop-up shower or storm. Then the front itself really starts to push through tomorrow afternoon, and I think a better chance of some scattered showers and storms tomorrow afternoon. But tomorrow, yeah, that's why we call it a cold front. Temperatures topping out in the mid-80s tomorrow. Same thing on Thursday and Friday. So we are going to get back down into the 80s, and that's going to hold, it looks like, through the upcoming weekend. So one more day, making 4 in a row in the 90s before we do start to cool things back. So again, about a 30% chance you see that pop-up storm today. There'll be a little bit more widespread tomorrow as the front itself really starts to come through. And I think a little bit more in terms of cloud cover tomorrow. Thursday right now is looking like a pretty good day with some sunshine, dry, and temperatures in the 80s. You also notice that dip in the humidity on Thursday. So I think Thursday is shaping up to be a pretty good one. We haven't had the oppressive humidity during this latest heat wave, so at least that has helped us out a little bit, but it's still been obviously pretty hot and pretty sticky, and that will continue today, going for that high right around 92 degrees. As I mentioned, about a 30% chance you see that pop-up shower or storm in your backyard. Some will linger into the evening hours tonight with some scattered thunderstorms. We'll settle things down overnight, but 70, that's it for the overnight low. So here's the rest of your first morning 7-day forecast. As I mentioned, better chance of scattered showers and storms tomorrow. That's the cold front, though, that will start to cool us back, and you notice we're going to hold in the 80s straight through the upcoming weekend.
A final check of our top stories. Police in Lancaster County are investigating a shooting. Details are still very limited, but we know it happened just after 8 o'clock last night near North 3rd and Walnut Streets in Columbia. Crews have been on the scene all night and all morning. 10 Democratic hopefuls will take the stage in Detroit, Michigan tonight. It's part 1 of the second set of presidential debates. Tonight's event will include Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, Beto O'Rourke and Pete Buttigieg. Then tomorrow, voters can hear from other candidates such as Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, and Joe Biden. Heads up, drivers in Lebanon County today. PennDOT will begin excavation work on a sinkhole. The depression opened up on Route 422 in North Londonderry Township earlier this summer. Crews have set up an 11-mile detour to help you avoid the construction. It takes drivers through routes 1 through 17, 322, and 934 to bring you back to 422.
It is set up for a reason. It is set up to handle the volume of traffic. It is set up to handle the weight of tractor trailers going through. Using the neighborhoods as shortcuts through is putting the neighborhood residents at danger.
The construction is expected to last 4 months. And we'll be right back after this.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.
Hi, Sherry. Well, I think the forecast for you and your family is nothing but sunny days ahead as you head back to the Charm City. You know, it's been over a decade since we sat together at the anchor desk and bantered about the weather, but I have nothing but great memories from that time. And thanks for your dedication to the community, and I wish you and your family only the best.
Well, you know, plenty of morning sunshine. We've got temperatures, though, already in the 70s in many spots. Another hot one today as we head for the 90s. We'll look for a pop-up thunderstorm to come our way during the late afternoon and early evening hours. About a 30% chance you could see one today. Better chance tomorrow as the front actually comes through, but that's the one that's going to cool us back a bit. So, you know, for today, I'm thinking 4 in a row. We're going to get into the 90s, going for a high near 92 degrees as we watch for that pop-up storm. Front comes through tomorrow, though. Some relief. Back down into the 80s rest of the week and into the weekend, Ashley.
And a check on our roads in Harrisburg. We're doing just fine. No major accidents or delays to let you know about. Moving around the Capitol Beltway. Everything at the York Split looks good. Same goes for the Eisenhower Interchange. This traffic report is brought to you by the all-new Turner Chevrolet in Harrisburg.
Family Fest kicks off this weekend. Voila! Look at what we have here today. Gas stuff. 10 hoses of back. I love it. That's probably what they used to stop.
Best open ever. So all morning long, we've been honoring Sherry as she says goodbye to Central PA after 17 years here at CBS 21.
And as many of you know, for years, Sherry has been spearheading our Making a Difference series, telling the most heartwarming and motivating stories of inspirational people in our area doing good for others.
That's right, but now it's our turn to tell the story of how Sherry has been making a difference. This is the Sherry Christian we all know and love. Exuding compassion and kindness,
Supports the entire family.
with listening ears and a tender heart to every person she meets. But there's a special place in her soul for telling good news stories of those making a difference here in Central PA.
Raising their voices to raise awareness about epilepsy.
Sherry has touched the lives of countless people, and she will probably never fully know just how much of an impactful, inspirational, and superior difference she has made in our lives.
Helping others heal from inside and building inner strength.
From a community advocate to a wife and mom.
Hey Mom, you've made a difference with me. I've come and bothered you at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning with my issues that you probably didn't care about, but I believed you did.
Hey babe, as much of a difference as you've made in the lives of many people here in Central Pennsylvania over the last 17 years, the difference you've made in my life is more profound as my wife. Love you, looking forward to waking up with you. I've missed that over the last almost 2 decades, and just so proud of everything you've accomplished.
What a great ending. Wow. So, I guess I should say something, huh?
Yeah. Speech.
Yeah. Listen, I have no words because, again, I'm just overwhelmed with the response. It's hard to know how many people and how many lives you've touched, you know, and we all do in this business. We all do in a positive way. Those of you who know me know that I'm guided by a higher power, and every step along the way, he has placed me where I needed to be and where I could do the most good. And for the last 17 years, that's been here in Central PA. I know my next chapter will be guided by that higher power's hand. And I will just be introduced to even more special people whose light shines on me and whose light I feed off of as well. So anything that I do, it's because I'm surrounded by incredible people that God has put in my path, and Central PA is a part of that. So thank you all, and thank you. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Ashley.
We love you, Sherry. We love you so much.
And again, and I tweeted this, is listen, the one thing that's making it easier for me is I know this isn't gonna end. We're just gonna take it to a different level, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So personally, we will continue to have fun and sing songs and, and hang out with our families, so.
17 years, we've never had an argument. We've never raised our voice to each
Never.
other. Let's go out by the coffee machine and just really have
a knockdown drag out.
Get
it all out. Steve! Never, Steve, because, man, dude. Oh. Wow. Hey, listen, you all will continue on. You're going to be doing my Making a Difference reports, right?
Yep.
So I'm
Stay
so
tuned.
excited about that. Yeah.
Oh, we love you so much. No words on how much we love you.
CBS This Morning is next. We're going to leave you with a live look into Harrisburg. Love you, Sherry.